Whether you're someone who lost their job because of the pandemic, someone who's still in school, or a low-life degenerate like me, you've probably found yourself stuck inside the house quite a bit this year, and may or may not have found yourself occupying a lot of that newfound free time playing video games. Whatever the case may be, there's no denying that many people have turned to video games during this time of crisis, whether for an escape from reality or just a casual way to kill some time during some of the more rigorous lockdowns.
Lockdown disabled.
Games like Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal were a huge success this year, and not only came out at exactly the right time, but broke record numbers when it comes to sales for each of these game series and their respective franchises. And with the long-awaited and highly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077 coming out in just a few days as of making this video, video games show no sign of stopping. So what games have I played this year? Well, I'm glad you asked.
In 2020, what makes someone a criminal?
Whoa! This is my list of must-play games that I've played in 2020. Whether or not these games came out in 2020 or are as old as Satan's ass crack doesn't really matter, because all these games you're gonna want to play, especially if 2021 is shaping up to be anything like 2020. These games aren't in any particular order, but with that out of the way, let's begin. While Doom 2016 was pretty good and was a much needed game to help push the FPS genre forward, at least in terms of single player, Doom Eternal is like the next big leap in first person gaming. It's one of those big freaking amazing games that is so good you're gonna pee your pants. You can grab a guy, gouge out his eye, hit him with the big glowy sword, or just blast these asshole demons off the face of the earth. Doom Eternal is an action-packed shooter about slaying demons and kicking ass and taking names. Not too different from Reggie, Nintendo CEO.
My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names.
I mean, I really can't sing my praises of this game highly enough. And on top of it all, it's got a pretty stellar DLC expansion as well. Now that's what I call a game, not to mention booty tech. Metro Exodus is a family-friendly road trip across the irradiated post-apocalyptic ruins of Russia. While it has its, well, it doesn't really have any flaws, does it? Unlike its Western counterpart Fallout, Metro Exodus does not suffer from bugs or glitches. It is a super polished, well-oiled machine designed to make you forget you're actually playing a game. The environments in this game are absolutely gorgeous. Metro Exodus is not only a must-play, it's one of the most visually impressive games from a graphical standpoint of this generation. There's not much else to say about it other than that it's awesome. In the literal sense of the word, you will be awestruck. You can't really talk about this year without talking about Mario though, can you? I mean, it is his 35th anniversary after all. And while we could dwell on how stupid it is that Super Mario 3D All-Stars will no longer be purchasable physically or digitally after March 31st, 2021, or how horribly lazy the port of Mario 64 included in this collection is, or how Nintendo will do whatever they can to nostalgia bait and actively pressure their most loyal fans into buying a game by creating artificial scarcity, all while putting in as little effort as possible to make any actual quality of life changes or improvements to an already antiquated product. But let's be honest, there's really only one reason any of us bought this game. Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy. You can spin jump, or walk around a whole planet in this beautifully crafted linear level-based game full of a buffet of delicious courses designed to quench you of all your platforming needs and desires. On top of the beautiful HD 60 resolution that Nintendo Switch has to offer this port of an absolute classic, Mario has never been better. Since we're on the topic of Super Mario's 35th anniversary, another game that brought me a lot of joy this year was Super Mario Odyssey. There's so much to do in this game, making it a perfect quarantine game. So many different collectibles and worlds to explore. It's just like a never-ending sea of content to dip your feet in. In fact, I had a lot of fun attempting a speedrun of this bad boy, and was able to beat it in just under 4 hours while a couple of homies watched me at 1 AM live while doing so. But hey, that's a story for another day. Minecraft Dungeons is not a game I was expecting to play this year. I mean, come on now. As much as I love Minecraft, no Minecraft spin-off game could possibly be good. Could it? Could it? Minecraft's little cousin, Minecraft Dungeons, is a bit of an underrated gem. Gameplay is a bit simplistic, but under the hood it's a very colorful, enjoyable, and relaxing experience. It's easy to pick up and play and immediately have a good time. Yes, it's a casual experience, but the best kind. And while some earlier stages can be pretty darn easy to the point that they almost turn me off from the game entirely, the game actually gets more intense as you go on and ends up being quite a challenge in later levels. The art style is quite frankly beautiful for a game of this type, and I just wish regular Minecraft looked like this with all the fancy lighting and shaders and whatnot. This game is also on Xbox Game Pass, so that's a thing. It's also available on just about every platform under the sun, just like its big brother. Is it disappointing that this is the absolute best a billion-dollar company like Microsoft has put out in years? Yes, but let's just hope we see more like this down the pipeline when it comes to Xbox Game Studios. Along with the colorful environments, characters, and items, Minecraft Dungeons really does remind me of a Nintendo game. The game is good fun playing solo, but since this game actually requires you to be online to play, essentially requiring you to have already owned Game Pass or Xbox Live, this game does best with friends, which is why I always bring along someone with me. The game can be chaotic at times, but that's really the whole fun of it. This one is hard for me to imagine I even played in the year of 2020. I started playing the Bioshock series during Christmas season last year. Remember, before everything went to shit? I finished playing all 3 Bioshock games in early January. These games really blew me away. Yes, the first 2 games in this series are a bit old, and don't hold up quite as well as Bioshock Infinite in my opinion. Gunplay is satisfying for a first-person shooter, but not super great in Bioshock 1 and 2. That's not to say these games aren't worth playing. Bioshock has some seriously incredible world building, atmosphere, and storytelling across the board. And if you're looking for a good game to get lost in, or just forget about reality for a bit, Bioshock is the perfect game for you, my friend. Almost 20 years later, Halo is still getting released across different platforms and being brought to the gaming masses to experience it in its full glory. While I could easily put the Master Chief Collection in this spot, and while I'm going to tell you it's definitely worth your money, I want to highlight one of my favorite games of all time, and try to convince you that it's worth giving a shot, even in 2020 and beyond. Years after its initial release back in 2001, Halo Combat Evolved is a spectacular game, with impressive skyboxes and immersive levels, but most of all, it's a wild space romp through a bizarre alien world, as you shoot up colorful baddies and leave a trail of blood in your wake. You're going to wonder why you've never experienced this game before. Above all else, Halo Combat Evolved is a masterpiece in video game design and a stern reminder of the roots of the first-person shooter genre. With its rich atmosphere, sound design, music, and colors, on top of the Halo series' rich lore, and hours of countless content to explore, Halo 1 and the Master Chief Collection are a must-buy and a must-play. If that isn't enough to convince you to at least give it a shot, I don't know what will. With some seriously awesome games on the horizon, I can't wait for the next few years to see what gaming has to offer, and can't wait to keep making YouTube videos, which is why I want to say thank you. Seriously, thank you. If you subscribed to me this year and actually enjoyed watching my content, I am eternally grateful. And while I may not have reached the 100 subscriber milestone I've been striving to achieve, each and every one of my viewers has made my life just a little more bearable in this truly awful year of 2020. Thank you to all you amazing people, and thanks for all the friends I've made this year. Here's to hoping 2021 isn't anything like 2020, but if not, here's to hoping we all keep finding the bright side and the little things that keep us going. Listing all these games out really makes me realize how much free time I've had this year, and I'm glad and lucky to have been privileged enough to hold up in my Fallout bunker for the last 10 months. Even though, I won't lie, I do miss going to Starbucks to get that little Frappuccino, you know, the one with a little swirl on top? Yeah, you know the one. Either way, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Also, Cyberpunk 2077 is cancelled.